What's going on, everybody? It's Sammy from Blackstone Lab Supplement Company in the wholesale department. Today we actually got the benefit of actually coming into Liquivida in the partnership with Brazilian Med Spa to do the NADH10 intravenous IV. The reason I really stumbled upon this is because NADH10 is actually produced in the body, but it decreases over time.
Yes, hello?
The major reason I want it is because one, it increases focus, two, it reverses your aging process, and the last but not least, it creates new brain cells. So your boy's about to get smarter.
What's going on? My name is Chelsea. I run the shipping department at Blackstone Labs. I recently suffered a fairly severe concussion, had a lot of head trauma, and I'm hoping this treatment will help alleviate some of those symptoms as far as the chronic fatigue, the memory lapse problems, the lack of mental focus. So hoping for the best. Thanks, Liquivida.
It's got the product in it, and it comes in a powdered form. So what we'll do, we'll introduce sterile water into the vial, and that makes it into a solution. And you don't want to shake it because then it starts getting air bubbles and it just gets frothy. So what we're going to do, we're just going to roll it a little bit and wait till it mixes up. And once all the product is dissolved in the water, then we introduce that into the saline bag, and then we introduce that into the vein. And then we let it flow for about 4 to 5 hours at a slow drip. And that's it. That one is tiny. And that's your best one?
It's been called the little vein that could.
Alright, we're good.
I'm not going that fast. We charge about $4.
So bad.
I'm curious of seeing how this all plays out for you today. It's a big day. I hope you brought stuff to do.
I forgot my laptop, but what I really need is like a FaceTime connection to the shipping room so I can yell at them from here. That's one try. The very first try. Ah, thank you.
You good right here?
Yeah, it works.
Joking.
I was like, wait a minute.
That vein like welcomed that IV.
Yeah, right?
His vein had open arms to the IV. It's like it drew it into there.
Dan, can you get me a Vanguard, please?
For you, Steve? Anything. There you go. And then as soon as you're ready, once it drips for a second, then I'll put the glutathione in there.
Yeah.
Nice. Yes.
Well, time to get smarter.
I've done a number of videos on IVs, glutathione treatments, but this is the first video on the NAD drip. And this is a newer IV that has gotten a lot of attention all over the United States, and I'll explain why. For starters, the effect that it has on your brain is very, very, very interesting and very unique. It actually helps reverse cellular damage. It actually helps prevent cellular damage, and it actually can almost reverse the signs of time on your brain, which of course leads to everything else in your body. So I first started looking into this when I had my EBV and I got diagnosed with chronic fatigue and adrenal failure, and my brain just felt slow, and it was really frustrating for a few months, guys. The depression that I had, the fog that I had, and I wanted to just be back to normal. So I started putting a lot of research and found this. And I saw that they were using it on Parkinson's patients. And the Parkinson's patients were saying that they felt like their symptoms were halted. And I saw that they were using it a lot in drug treatment centers, where people who had addiction problems were going through their detoxes and using this as part of a detox, help them get over depression, anxiety, things like that. And so I thought to myself, wow, this is something that I need to experiment with. What sort of turned me off to it at first was that it's a very long drip. They say it's a minimum of 4 hours. And I was like, man, how could I sit for 4 hours? I have to do some more research into it. So while this was going on, Chelsea, who you guys may or may not have met already in this video, who's actually hooked up and sitting here right now, has been working for me for a very long time. And she's a wrestler, and she's taking many blows to the head, but she actually suffered an injury outside of the ring that messed her up worse than any of the stuff that she had done in the ring, and she had bleeding in her brain. Since then, she has said that she's been frustrated over the fog that she's had in her brain and not being able to bounce back the way that she used to. So the first thing I did was say, well, why don't we try something mild like ginkgo biloba? It's supposed to help memory, it's supposed to help cognitive function. We had her supplement with that. And as time was going by, she said that she still didn't feel like she was back to her old self. And I said, you know what, it may take months, but I believe that you will get back. And researching what I could do for her, I was thinking, okay, perhaps nootropics, things like that, brought me back to the NAD plus, NADH, and I did more and more research and thought this could possibly be something that really, really helps her a lot. So I'm hoping that the most, like, yeah, we all want to get the benefit of it today. Sandy's trying to bust out more sales and be sharper than he already has on the phone, which is going to be pretty tough because he's sharp already. I'm trying to kind of get back to the way that my brain was firing before, and Chelsea probably has the farthest gap of what she was trying to get back to. So if she accomplishes that or a lot of that after today, then doing all this was so worth it. All the research was worth it because she's an amazing person, she's an amazing worker, and I just want her to be able to feel like her again. And so that is why we are here today. So this is a brand new one that we've never done. I encourage you guys to start going and looking into this. Right now, it's not something that you can do orally. However, we are looking into perhaps talking to Jared maybe about what high-tech can do with maybe liposomal technology and see if it's something in the future that can be done. Until then, though, it has to be done through IV treatment. So I'm gonna get mine now, and we'll see how it goes. Rebecca, who Marissa has done her hair before, and through email conversations we were discussing different benefits. She actually suffered the same illness that I did, so we went back and forth on different things that we were going through, and I had told her about trying the NAD drip herself, and so going back and forth a few times. She's obviously very, very into working out, and not feeling yourself and not having that energy was, I understand the frustration. I think most people, if they're not experiencing it like we were, they just don't get it. You know, they're like, oh, sleep more, rest more.
Exercise more.
And your brain is that off. You really want to do anything that you can. So I'm hoping that she gets the benefit that I'm hoping to get out of this as well today. And so we can all, I guess, after today, share our experiences and thoughts together and see, was it beneficial? You know, what do we really get? We're all hoping for the best. So, and I've turned around to Blackstone Labs supplements along the way too. All right, guys. So we have an all-star in here today that you haven't met in any of the videos yet. This is my good friend Dion. And well, why don't I let you explain to all the people watching who you are and what you do here at Liquivida?
Hi, so my name is Dion. I am the wellness coordinator here at Liquivida Lounge in East Boca. My job, I specialize in peptide therapy as well as IV therapy. So we have our guests here today. They're doing the NAD drip, which is a fantastic IV. If you're looking to boost your brain energy, the mitochondria helps with ATP production, which is what provides energy for the cells. And one of the effects of doing an NAD drip, it takes about 4 to 5 hours. It's a drip that cannot be done quickly, and essentially what it does, it provides energy for your brain, gives you an overall feeling of well-being, helps you to be productive, constructive. The effects typically last about 3 to 4 weeks, and it's an excellent way to just recharge your brain, help you feeling good. For those of you who have busy days, you're running around all the time, having stressful days, burning the candles of both, and this will help to recharge your brain so you're thinking with clarity. It helps with strength, and like I said, overall feeling of well-being.
Well, I had a number of questions in my mind that I knew that the listeners were going to ask, but you answered them all before, so I was checking them off as you were going along. So I guess the only question that I really have is, why does it have to go so slow?
NAD, if you try to run it in a slow, it actually causes arrhythmia. It will cause your heart to beat a little bit smaller. So the time is needed for your body to be able to absorb the NAD slowly. And again, it affects the brain directly, providing the energy for the cells in your brain. It also helps with inflammation as well. And again, if you cannot speed it up, it's not recommended, and you will feel the effects of it if you do try to speed it up. So you can come in. It's going to take 4 hours. You can bring work with you. You can bring your laptop with you. If you want to send emails, relax, enjoy the experience. As you can see, Liquivida is meant to be a very relaxing environment for you to have the true Liquivida experience and enjoy it and recharge your brain.
Well, that's perfect. I mean, we're all just kind of doing our work, answering emails and relaxing. This is the most sitting that I've done in quite a while, but I believe in the benefits so much, and I need to see for myself, and so we'll know quite a bit after today.
Right. So one of the, I remember when I did my very first IV drip, the NAD, it was my first one, and I am sort of an impatient person, so it was a little bit difficult for me to sit still for 4 hours, but again, I was able to get a lot of work done because the time that's spent to go through the drip. I remember at the end of my day, I had to run around and do errands, and one of the first places I stopped was a Winn-Dixie supermarket, and I remember feeling like I was walking on air because it charges your brain so much and sort of wakes up the cells and energizes them. It felt like I was walking around on air. It was the best feeling, and it lasts. It's not 3 or 4 or 5 days. It was over a period of about 3 to 4 weeks where I felt like I could conquer the world. You are motivated and energized, and there's this incredible feeling of well-being, and you feel wonderful towards the people that you encounter. So most of us suffer from chronic fatigue and brain fog, and that's precisely what NAD does. It recharges your brain, so all those tasks and chores and errands that you think about doing, you actually have the energy to do that. Go through your day, accomplish all the things that you want to do, and still feel great. It also helps to improve your sleep quality as well.
Oh, good. I need that. Well, thank you very much for educating everybody.
My absolute pleasure.
We're really excited about this. I've been researching this myself for a long time, and I believe that it's going to help me a lot, help Chelsea a lot. We'll see what everybody says after, and then you'll be seeing me a lot. This is crazy for me, guys, because I can do a glutathione bag in like 30 minutes.
Right.
So this is the longest bag for me that I've taken, but I believe in it that much that, you know, I'm here for the sake of figuring it out. So.
Yeah, it's definitely well worth it. Another reason you can also do an NAD drip, for anyone that's looking to detox, that is actually one of the other benefits of NAD. It helps with that process. It does help to detox you. Mm-hmm. So if someone, whatever it's alcohol or any sort of addiction, NAD is also used in the medical community.
Yeah, we're seeing that a lot now.
Absolutely, yeah, it helps with that as well.
Great. Well, thank you so much. That was fantastic.
Pleasure. Thank you.
You stole my questions, but that's okay. All right, there you go. There's the expert on NAD. So now we will just wait and take our bags in. Looks like we're about halfway through. I think me moving around is
You
actually
still
slow.
have to spend a bit more time with me.
So it's been a little over a week since the IV treatment for NAD, and I definitely feel a lot more energy than I did before because I was exhausted all day, every single day, and the difference already is night and day. I would absolutely do it again.
About 10 days ago, I got the NADH10 IV, about 500 milligrams. It was a 3-hour procedure, just basically getting the actual nutrients into me. So far, benefits I noticed was definitely increase in memory. That night, I actually slept a lot better, deeper. When I woke up, I usually had a fogginess in the past for a while. Could be from the constant stimulants I take and obviously prepping and caffeine intake. All that correlates in play, but I noticed that was gone. So people ask, like, did you see a benefit? Saw a benefit in memory, definitely a benefit in sleep, and overall fogginess, because fogginess takes a lot. It's actually a big demotivator, so definitely increasing that. Would I do it again? Yeah, I definitely can see it, because there's other contributing benefits like resetting your DNA, basically slowing your aging process down. DNA has a lot to do with wrinkles, so instead of getting Botox, you can get like an IV treatment like NADH10 and actually see the wrinkles decrease.
All right, guys, so you've watched the whole video. You've seen the whole process on the NAD IVs. You've heard from doctors. You've heard from the people from Liquivida. You've heard from me. You've heard from Sammy. You've heard from all these different people on their thoughts on it. You've heard about the stories of what people have gone through. A couple people that were not present in this video, Rebecca, who had a quick little cameo in the video, said that she has definitely noticed some improvement for sure. And Sammy's dad, who went in the next day, said he definitely feels sharper as well and that he would certainly do it again. I actually haven't even watched any of the recordings of what Chelsea or Sammy have done. I was extremely, of course, as I said in the beginning, concerned for Chelsea, but just seeing her around the office, she seems more alive than I have ever seen her, and that alone makes me really, really excited. Now, to me, at this point, I would have to say that the results have been somewhat inconclusive, and I'll explain why. The week that I had done this procedure turned into one of the most crazy, stressful, anxiety, just nuts weeks that I've had in as long as I can remember. And because of that, I was very high strung for a few days. My sleep was a little bit thrown off. I would say now, my sleep has gotten a little bit better the past couple days. We're about a week post IV. And for sure, through all of this, my brain has been firing sharper than ever. And the reason that this is so important for me is because I actually did this DNA test before I even got into any of this. And I have the results of this here, right? And so what this test showed is that my serotonin production is extremely, extremely low. My dopamine is extremely, extremely low. My norepinephrine is extremely low. My epinephrine is very, very high. My norepi and epi ratio is extremely low. My body produces way too much GABA. And then the other numbers here aren't too bad. They're also, in my opinion, not as important as the numbers that you see up here. So what these numbers mean, my brain is not producing the right chemistry to make me happy. So no matter how good my life can be, doctors would want to put me on an SSRI, which millions of people do every day to control that aspect of my life. And I was wondering why many days I would feel really depressed for no reason. And I would say to myself, my life is good. Why am I feeling like this? And then you realize that you have a chemical imbalance in your brain. And so before I went out and decided that I wanted to try doing any of these SSRIs, I've been doing all sorts of other things. You guys have been following me and you've seen me do essential oils and all these other IV treatments, and I'm pretty meticulous with my vitamins. The NAD is now a new piece to the puzzle that I'm really, really excited about. And as of today, which is, I believe now 1 full week later, I feel very sharp. and I don't really drink much stimulants anymore. A lot of people joke around and they're like, what's PJ on? I have 1 cup of coffee in the morning. That is it. I don't drink pre-workouts anymore. The Blackstone Labs pre-workouts are way too strong for me, and I still feel very, very sharp. So I'm at a point now where I would 100% do this again. I'm gonna wait at least a month and see how I feel, and I might even try a higher dose because I've researched higher doses. Most of you guys should be great at 500 milligrams. You can go as high as 1,000. You can go as low as 250. I wouldn't suggest doing the 250. I think 500 is a great spot for everybody to start at. I have also learned that I might be able to do it a little bit faster than 4 hours because I had no negative side effects. I spoke to a couple doctors since then that said the reason that it has to be done so slow is you can get very nauseous, your heart rate can get out of hand, a number of things that somebody like myself who's so used to getting IVs may not have to deal with. Now, it's still going to be a slow process. It might be 3.5 hours or maybe even 3 instead of 4. That's something that I'm going to look to going forward. But at this point, I think that it was very beneficial for everybody. I encourage you guys to go and research IV therapy in general and the different forms of IV therapy. I thought it was really neat that Sammy told me that he's hitting his e-cigarette way, way less. I don't know if he said that on the video, but the NAD will actually work with the part of your brain that controls addiction. So if you guys have addiction issues and whatnot, this is huge for you. If you're somebody that's in recovery, whether it's for opiates or alcohol, or maybe you're addicted to porn, whatever, this part of your brain is affected by NAD the most. So thank you very much to Liquivida, which is my home away from home, which is where I do all my IVs. You guys can get a discount by mentioning my name whenever you go in there. Thank you to everybody who participated. I think this is very interesting, and I also think that this is something that can help a lot of people. So I'll close it out the way that I always do, with a peace out bar.